which came to mind earlier, which I shall beguile you with this evening, is the search for meaning. And for the vast majority of you who have any kind of like religious, spiritual inclination, or even any kind of say intellectual kind of philosophical inquiry of mind, that you're going to reflect on your existence, exactly where you are in life and where you are going as far as say the future. And so naturally this search for meaning, say for example, what does it actually mean to you personally to have say like meaning in your life? So what we can actually refer to is that quality of life, those experiences which are important to you, which bring you some understanding, which make your life worthwhile, worth living. You can run the whole range of say quality friendships and relationships with other people, to have exciting and interesting experiences to travel, to have sort of deep insights and meditative experiences. So if you look at right throughout human history, that particular mode of inquiry in the minds of human beings has always been with us, because the human being has this potential to think, to investigate, to inquire, and when we look out into the world and into the universe, we are a very small speck in the big picture, and especially for people who get good quality meditation on a regular basis, that it increases your sensitivity in this area. It leads to a sense of like genuine, say, wonder. Exactly, our place in the cosmos, the personal karma, that we have to work with. So that sense of meaning, if we we look at ourselves, we look at our character, the quality of the life that we have, and do we feel that we're moving in the right direction? I mean, does our life feel does it feel shallow and meaningless? Can you actually honestly look at yourself and reflect that that even if you should say like die tomorrow or next week, you won't have you'll have very, very few regrets. So even in as a sidetrack, when you look at, say, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, this principle at the highest level of self-actualization, the fulfillment of a person's character or personality. So you realize your full potential as a human being. So, but ultimately, on a when we consider that particular principle on the spiritual path, there are like, so for example, you have certain significant teachers who say things like all is one. It's a very, very catchy line just to spin straight off the cuff, but people don't really have a really tangible feel for that until the meditation is, until you get quite good quality samadhi. Then you'll get a real feel for that type of insight, because you're looking at the like the independent relationship between phenomena, between in this mind, this body, and this world and this universe that we are a part of, and live out this particular life and a number of lives to come at some point in the future, depending on the quality of your personal karma, because every single one of us, we have the full mix, the full range of both wholesome, unwholesome, neutral, and for a person who's fairly skillful, who's got some nous, that they will live their life in a quality format. You've got enough underlying awareness of, say, religious, spiritual principles. It can be, say, Hinduism, Christianity, and especially Buddhism, because Buddhism is a very comprehensive teaching. There's absolutely nothing that Buddhism can't know or understanding, and the actual structure of the teaching format is foolproof. There's nothing, you won't find anything within the Buddha's system of inquiry, his doctrinal analysis, that you can basically take apart or refute. And even myself, I'm not a scholar by any means. I read very, very few books, but I can basically hold my own against almost anybody so far. So this principle, the quality of the way we actually live our life, because we're a human being, we have a brain, we have an intellect, we have these higher intellectual capabilities, but one of the key principles with the with the development of the human being is the heart. It's this wise emotional heart, and that heart is what is an essential component in your experience, because you need to feel. You can think. We can think all sorts of things. We can think 1,001 different thoughts, but it's the emotional tone. It's your feelings which give a particular thought process a sense of maybe profundity, or maybe a sense of inquiry, or a sense of, it could be like complete bafflement. So our emotional mindset, it's an important component within the human character, within the heart, because without that, you can't learn very much at all. The Dhamma practice, religious spiritual practice, is very, very much, it's a feely practice, and in order to really know and understand, you've got to pass through so many different kinds of emotions. You need to feel your way in life. You need to feel your way with spiritual practice, and because essentially that's where you learn. That's where your personal awareness is based. You need to feel in order to both understand, both at the beginners through to the intermediate, through to the advanced to a degree. Depending on the depth of the meditation, because as you go very deep in the meditation practice, then the feelings that you experience on the level of the mind become more and more refined, and you actually you'll reach that point. As the way, say, any say very skilled meditation teachers, you go beyond conventional say human emotions in the deeper meditation experiences, very, very refined states of mind and emotion, up to a point. So this sense of inquiry, because the vast majority of people, more like, say, 50% of the people that we see walking the streets, the vast majority have considered, where am I going in life? Am I truly happy as a person? You know, am I happy in, you know, within my marriage, with my kids, my, you know, my personal relationships with my friends, and you know, am I satisfied with the work, you know, that I do on a day-to-day basis? You know, is it productive? You know, is it meaningful? Does it actually help, you know, develop myself and help other people? Because you find that for individuals who do nothing for others in life, it tends to be quite a shallow kind of, you know, mentality. You know, you don't have to knock yourself out, you know, for the benefit of other people. You know, depending how strong your character, how strong the mind is, you know, just to give at least to a small degree, you know, of kindness, compassion, maybe a little bit of, you know, to help others, give a little bit of service in different ways, you know, that it benefits, you know, your character, yourself on the heart level. You know, this ties in, it links in with your with the quality of your karma, your wholesome karma. Because, you know, when you're looking at reality principles, you're looking at karma and rebirth. You've got to pay quite close attention to this. You know, it's every single one of us, you know, we're generating our personal karma on a moment-to-moment basis. So we need to be quite wise, quite skillful, the way we conduct ourselves on a day-to-day basis, because the karmic trace of every single move you make, it's either at the surface or on deeper levels in the mind, and essentially you are going to have to experience the fruition of the causes that you put in, the actions that you actually undertake in this life that you live currently. But also, you know, you have the numberless lives which have come before this current life. You have a vast storehouse of karma that you will need to work through to a degree. It's not to say that you are going to have to go all the way back, process all the karma that you've ever generated. You know, you'll have to work through a degree of this, but the bottom line, especially with especially with the meditation practice, you know, developing skill in the meditation practice, when you reach that point where you are able to suppress thought, say the thought activity, the thought process in the mind, where you can actually bring the mind to a sense of depth, a sense of lasting silence, then you have a real potential to go deep with you know, with say the development of say personal spirituality and deep qualities in the heart. You know, because this process of meditation, developing the heart, that you know, that the vast majority of people that have, you know, have been on the path, maybe different paths. They could have run, you know, back and forth between, say, Islam, Hindu, you know, like a number of different practices. For anyone who has an interest in, say, Buddhist practice, you know, it's quite potentially they could have run through several in past lives, and they may have reached the point where they've got enough underlying insight, you know, which brings them to the Buddhist path. The Buddhist path gives you the the greatest potential for, say, personal realization or enlightenment. So, you know, I'm not just sort of like spinning this off the top of my head. You know, if we're looking at paths that we, you know, major say religious paths that we see in the world, you know, the prominent paths that we see and that are practiced that give rise to good results. These paths have the potential to take you so far on the path of realization, because with your personal insight knowledge that you develop over time, that each particular religious practice or path that you follow will take you so far. It's got a workable limit, and but potentially the Buddhist path will take you all the way. It will take you to the 4 stages of enlightenment and full emancipation within, the realm of so you say like wisdom and understanding. But the key principle, the reason I say this is actually an exposition the Buddha gave in the suttas, that wherever, regardless of what the name of the system is, the system of practice or spiritual path, if you see all 8 factors, so for example you see the Eightfold Path within Buddhist culture, Buddhist mental and spiritual development, if you see the same corresponding factors in the same format in any other system, that system, even though it may have slightly, say, different external appearances, maybe slightly different, say like cultural nuances or expressions or whatnot. When you see that Eightfold Path, that Eightfold Path has the potential to take you to true realization, not just oneness with God, or to say the realization of the Godhead, or the realization of the unity of all phenomena. That particular experience, that mind experience, is not to be sniffed at. It is a very profound personal experience, and it will automatically bring you a degree of insight knowledge which corresponds with the depth of that level of meditation. So as a person develops over the years, the deeper they go in the practice, the greater the potential there is for really quite profound insight from the intermediate to the advanced level. So when you become quite skillful over time, it's the depth of the insight knowledge which will gradually free you from, say, obstructions and fetters in the mind, say like the 10 fetters that we speak about in Buddhist culture, and that you will see in any other system on the level of the mind, because that's what you're actually working with. That's your say like your home base. Your mind is the source of everything you are, and everything you are is contained within that. So gradually over time, you have this process of say like unfolding and unraveling as you move from life to life. You, especially for those who are able to, say, develop spirituality in different formats, through devotion, through giving, through, it could be like mantra, through chanting. So as you see within the Hindu system, there's quite a number of formats that you can use to increase the focus, the awareness of the mind, underlying stillness and tranquility, and then you use that as a basis for your for your wisdom, your insight practice, because all the things that you do within any religious system, your observance of, say, like a minimum level of moral behaviour, say 5 precepts within Buddhist practice, the 10 commandments within the Christian fraternity, the corresponding principles within Hindu, Muslim culture, if they're based in non-harming, based in non-violence, if the principles which are adopted and practiced by any particular system that you see across the world, if that particular practice gives rise to good results, then regardless of what you call it, that particular system is on track, and it's how can I explain it? Its underlying integrity as a system, it's sound. If you look at any practice, any so spiritual, religious, maybe cultural practice to a degree, gives rise to good results, then you can see quite clearly that the cause and effect principle, it's sound. It's in line with wholesome reality principles, and that will be the test of any system. See the way, say for example, it could be the most obscure religious cult from the back of whoop whoop, but if you see good results, both in the short and long term, then those the people in that particular group are practicing correctly. So when you so like reflect on your life, you just imagine a very say for example like a meaningful wake-up call is, you look at your current circumstances, your work, your friends, your family, connections. If you truly had like 7 days before your life would come to an end, I mean, what would you change? What kind of views and opinion? What change would you see in the views and the opinions that you have, the personal feelings that you have between yourself and other people? The level of say kindness, generosity, compassion. Would you see a change in that when you knew your life was on the line? Because when it comes down to tin tacks, so for example, you've been say diagnosed with cancer, you have a major degenerative disease process in action, and your time span is limited. Sometimes it's incredibly useful, and it's really like a wake up call for some people who might be a little bit laissez-faire. They take their family, their friends for granted. They don't particularly care, what they're doing in life. They do what they need to do. They make their money. They enjoy themselves, in different ways. And they've got their hobbies. They do the things that they like in life. But when your life is on the line, then you see quite clearly what's important to you. The relationships you have with other people. This is a key principle which comes up time and time again. Even things like friends, that you have. Maybe even it could be even like old friends, but maybe there's a bit of distance there, or you haven't had any contact with a long time, or maybe the way you relate to your kids, or I mean, even the things that you've done for, or what few things you've done for, say, for charity, or maybe even for, you've passed a homeless person in the street, to even for just a small example. When I was in Bangkok at Dhammaram, which is the monks' residence where they stay when they have to sort out business and visas in Bangkok. And the monks, even in the city, they go out for food collection in the morning, and you have to, like, on the Bindabat round, you virtually have to race out there and back, because you are just you're just drowning in shopping bags. You've got like 5. On the way back, you've got 5 full shopping bags and a full bowl, and you've got enough food there to feed like half a dozen people. And then as I came back and rounded the last major turn-off, there was this young boy, roughly 16, 17, just lying on the slab, a boy with definitely mentally disturbed, just curled up on the slab. And, you know, you had people, you know, cooking noodles, cooking fried rice in a number of locations within eyesight, and not one of them, you know, this, and Thailand's a Buddhist country, not one of those people, and he'd already been lying there for, say, easily, say, 20, 25 minutes, you know, as I was going out and returning, and nobody, you know, nobody came over to see if he was okay. Nobody came over with maybe a small bag of rice, and, you know, and as I rounded the last corner, you know, I just had this incredible amount of food, you know, and it's the faith of the local lay community. But, and, you know, being a Western monk in Thailand, they tend to attract attention. They tend to attract more support than the Thai monks, especially the forest monks. You know, because you know, they don't, you know, the vast majority of the practicing forest monks, they don't use money, drive cars. You know, they keep their precepts to the best of their ability, so they tend to encourage more support. So, you know, what I did was, you know, I laid down enough food to cover him for several meals. But I thought, no. As I walked away, and I thought, you know, give this boy enough food for, like, you know, maybe like 2 days. You know, give him, you know, there was stuff there that was like dry, you know, like there was dry noodles, there was some tin stuff, and so I just sort of laid out a spread and just, you know, just tucked it in as he was curled up, just tucked the food in, so it basically wouldn't roll away, or no, you know, no one would sort of snatch it. And you know, I just sort of tapped him on the shoulder, and then he opened his eyes, and his eyes just like rolled back, so you could see the whites of his eyes. So I knew he wasn't in a really good state, but at least he had enough. You know, he had enough stuff there to keep him going for a couple of days. You know, so, you know, even in the West, you know, that it's really quite lovely to see. You know, so when you've got like a homeless person in the local community, or maybe a person who's an alcoholic, and a person is prepared to, you know, to give them a couple of bucks, or for a hamburger, or, you know, give them, you know, enough to, you know, just for a decent feed. You know, as you know, a person, you know, can survive, you know, without major difficulties on one solid meal a day, and that's enough to, you know, to keep a disadvantaged person going for 24 hours. You know, so you know, even in the society that we have, naturally there's you know, quite a degree of pressure and stress on people in modern society. But yeah, we can look around and we can see that there's people who are a lot worse off than us. You know, and can we actually do something to make another person's life just a little bit easier? You know, can we ease their suffering? You know, maybe just over that short period, maybe just for a day and a night. And so, you know, there's opportunities in life, but actually you approach anyone that you see in a disadvantaged situation, as maybe a person with a drug dependency, an alcoholic, and you know, you approach them with wise reflection. You know, is the kind of you know, what I'm actually prepared to do for that person? Is it useful? Is it to their benefit, their personal benefit? So, yeah, when you know, there's opportunities in life where, you know, we can be of service. You know, we can actually help others in different ways, and that death reflection. It's not something you have to do. It's something you can do just very, very lightly, just even like several times a day. Just the thought, you know, like, you know, when am I going to die? And you know, there's many potential situations where your life can be taken. You know, you've got absolutely no idea when, you know, myself or any other person in this room, you know, when it's comes time for your life to be snatched away from you quite suddenly, or whether you will be diagnosed with some kind of major neurological disorder, maybe cancer, maybe some major defect, within the structure of your heart. So, all sorts of things can go wrong with this physical body that we use as our vehicle for practice in this life, this particular life that we have. So, for me, I find it quite skillful, because you really get a sense when you develop this kind of reflection. How much time do I really have left in this particular life that that's unfolding for me, and it becomes very clear what's really important to you in life. The material things, they tend to take a back seat. The things which become important are family, friends, personal development, how you've actually lived your life. You may reflect, especially when a person's when they know, and it's guaranteed, they've only got 7 days, they've got maybe 1 or 2 months. It really, it wakes a person up quite quickly, and it can be it can be of great benefit to have that kind of, say, like insight, knowledge actually set rolling in the mind, and it can be life changing, and it can do, even though it may be fatal. You can imagine these things, or it could be a reality situation where it's time for you to go in the short term. So you'll see very clearly what's really important to you in life, and you will take the vast majority of people, unless they're really, really incredibly insensitive, have no say wisdom or understanding whatsoever. They will make efforts to improve the quality of their life and the quality of their personal relationships, between themselves and other people, and the quality of the things, the way they live their life, the way they respond to events, the kind of attitudes they have towards other people. Because you just imagine, just say for example, there's someone that you really can't stand, and you'd rather not have that person around, whatsoever. But just imagine, you've got 7 days to live. I mean, how do you see that person in your mind's eye? So really, it puts things into perspective. But naturally, that kind of inside awareness, that can also be triggered by in a more sort of indirect way with the loving kindness and the compassion meditation, because meditators tend to be more sensitive than the average person, and when you use these mantra formulations, when you generate, very specific feelings in the mind, you radiate towards yourself, you radiate out into the world. It improves the quality of your character. It improves the way that you actually treat other people, the way you respond to other people, and it makes you a much nicer person. It makes you a attractive person. Whether you're male or female, people who have even a small degree of kindness, loving kindness, or compassion or sympathetic joy, these emotionally based heart-based states Even a non-religious person can actually feel this. They can feel this the quality of this emotion in a person's character, and naturally these say, what would you call this? These sublime abidings, these heart states, they radiate out. They permeate your personality, your being, and they radiate out into the world, and they affect other people in subtle ways. Going back about a year and a half ago, there was a young Sri Lankan man who was a mechanical engineer working in a company where the boss was just he's just like a very angry man, and very, very tense, put a lot of pressure on his junior people and whatnot, and we were talking it over, and I said, just put it to the test, with the loving kindness practice, because he was a very ardent meditator, and he was interested in actually seeing the effect of this kind of practice on other people. So, and he was saying that within 4 days that the boss, the way the boss actually responded to him, he could actually see a change in the character of his senior engineer. He was more friendly, because he was working closely with this the young engineer on a number of projects. That the loving kindness that the young Sri Lankan man had generated actually started to affect the character of the senior boss, and was tended like softened his heart, and permeated his character with at least a small degree of positivity, because when a person exercises that kind of forceful will upon others, they don't necessarily bring out the best in other people. When you've got that positivity, the softness, when other people feel that you like them, you have no say like ill will or whatnot. Say like unconducive type of feelings towards them, that they tend to just naturally react in a more positive format, because we move through life. We for many of us, especially in lay life, because it's so rough and tumble, we can't necessarily. We may feel that we just can't trust the vast majority of people, which is a common sense thing, until we actually know their character to a minimum degree. So with these positive meditations, radiating out, because you are the centre of your universe, radiating out into the world, affecting other beings around you, because you're associating with so many people on a daily basis, that this particular, say, positive state of mind, it rubs off on others, and it's a very quick and convenient means to increase the wholesomeness of your character, to protect you from say like negativity. And even in the sutras that the Buddha taught, that when a person develops that, even on a small basis, on a say like a day-to-day format, that particular that beautiful state of mind has the potential to take you to Devaloka, to the the celestial realms where angel beings live out their lives in these say blissful, joyful, beautiful worlds. So the kind of mind state the quality of the mind state that you are currently generating is going to the effect on your character at the end of your life, especially that death proximate karma, which is going to come up for you at the end of your life. That is going to hold sway. Is going to be, it's a substantial factor in where you will take rebirth in your next life. So it's worth, as far as the quality of your mind, your character, a very, very convenient way to increase wholesomeness, positivity, maximise the quality of the rebirth. Those final moments, they are influenced by your past karma, especially all the karma which is coming up for you. Because the mind is this process is so fast. You're looking at like mind moments leading up to that last stage. It could be that last 5, 10, 20 seconds. Your good and bad karma can surface up, and then it has that effect in that last stage, before you leave this physical body, and that will determine the quality of your, the rebirth that you will take in the future. But so we're coming up to 8:51, so I better not. I better tighten up the talk. So I will just call quickly for questions before I hand over. Anybody got any provocative views and opinions? No, you're very, very easy to please this evening. And if I can hand over.